Uh, Hi, Mason Rowley here, music director from WVCW, talking with some of the members of Kendall Street Company. First off, if you all like to just introduce yourselves and tell us how you're doing on tour so far.
Hello, my name is Lewis. I'm doing very well on tour so far. Very well indeed.
Oh, yeah, you can take the microphone.
Oh, I'll take. I can. Oh, thank you. I'll hold the microphone. Very well indeed on tour so far. Very well indeed.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wood. I'm hanging in there. But I'm having a good time along the way.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I feel like death.
Thank you. You all just recently released a new single called Tightrope, and it seems you already have this list of influences. It seems to even draw from even more. I almost heard post-rock in it. For somebody starting out listening to your band, what would be some reference points that they may not know about that you draw from that they might be interested in?
You gonna take this?
Yeah, sure. So it's honestly one of the fun things about being in this band is that all of us have kind of a very wide span of musical influences and what we like to listen to. It's fun sharing those influences with one another. It's really all over the place from, I listen to a lot of old Brazilian 60s music. Brian listens to a lot of Afrobeat and stuff like that. We all listen to jam bands, obviously. Lewis likes a lot of singer-songwriter, folky stuff. But what's fun is all of us like all of those things too. And so just kind of compiling these things on top, like, oh, I like this, you should check this one out, or like, we just learn a lot from all of our likes and tastes. I don't know, you want to go?
Yeah, and on Tightrope specifically actually was an interesting one because we also, in addition to having a lot of different musical influences that we listen to, we also kind of switch things up sometimes. And that actually came from a session that we had when we were just kind of jamming around in the basement. Lewis was actually playing bass. We had, I think, Ben on drums, and I was playing guitar, and I don't really know how to play guitar. And so we ended up in this very like droney post-rock, like you said, kind of Explosions in the Sky, or even heavier, like a band like Sleep or something. And I had written a poem a couple months prior that then I just kind of started yelling, and it really fit on the song. So singing. There are singing parts too, and yelling parts and talking parts and things. But yeah, so everything comes from a little bit of a different place. But sometimes, it comes and goes with the seasons, with every member of the band, with everything. We always are listening to new stuff and different stuff, and influences come from everywhere.
Thank you. So you all are obviously out on the road all the time, but is there a difference in process from being on the road touring to when you finally sit down and having we're recording an album here? What's sort of the switch up there like from, yeah?
Well, it all kind of happens at the same time. Like, I feel like there's a lot of songwriters in the band, and so we don't like start writing and stop writing. It's kind of like we're always writing stuff, and then when something's ready to bring to the band, we will we'll bring it to the band, and woo!
Like that, like we're gonna use that as an influence now. We're gonna do something like that.
Yeah, but so it's not really. We generally don't have time to sit down and say, oh, now we're going to make a record. It's kind of like, all right, we're writing songs, we're putting songs together, and
You start playing them live.
and start trying things out, and that's kind of how it rolls.
We like road test a lot of material, like a lot of songs that we want to eventually get to an album. Rather than perfecting it in the studio and then playing it out live, we often quickly throw something in the live repertoire and just start seeing how it feels. Like, ooh, maybe we'll try something different. Maybe we'll add a little jam part here. Maybe we'll cut a section down to make it a more condensed song. Just kind of see how it feels. How does the audience react? How do we feel on stage playing it? So, yeah, it's kind of interesting, especially the just us being on the road and traveling so much. I think that influences how we kind of workshop songs often.
You guys covered all the good points.
Sort of piggybacking off of that last topic, is there a song that comes to mind that morphed drastically? This will be on this new record that morphed drastically from that sort of beginning, sort of proto stages of being played first, and then to how it sounds on the record. Or is there no spoilers?
Well, this one is actually, so we do a little bit of both, and this one was a little bit more perfected in the studio before performing it live.
Disregard
everything.
everything
Because this album, and we do like to change it up. So sometimes we have songs that we're playing for even years before they end up on a project, or we are kind of having overlapping projects we're working on at the same time, where this fits on this and that fits on that, and we put them together, and once the whole idea is there, we'll do it. But we've also done stuff like during COVID, we went to the studio and recorded this double album called The Year the Earth Stood Still, and the whole concept was just we'd go into the studio for 6 days. It ended up being 5 because we summoned an ancient Sumerian god, and then he knocked the power out for like half a day. But we went in for 6 days, and in those 6 days, the idea was we wouldn't work on anything that we had been working on before that. It would all come together from the beginning of the time to the end of the time. And we didn't know if we'd get 3 songs or 20. We actually were very surprised to end up with what I think was 17. But for this next one, Separation 95, which will be out on September 22nd, by the way, that is one that was a little bit more written before we started performing the songs themselves, though they have still evolved from the point where we learned them, practiced them, played some of them live, and then went into the studio. So they do evolve a bit, but this one is a little bit more on the studio record side.
Yeah, and it was kind of during
COVID
COVID times, so we didn't really have an opportunity to take them out on the road until now. Yeah, and so now we're releasing it.
I guess finally, along the way of you all have so many stops on your playing constantly going on and on. Is there a place that comes to mind as like a sort of not a home for the band, but like a place where you always feel warm welcomes being there? I know you're from the UVA area.
Colorado's really
Denver,
yeah,
first
feels
stop.
yeah.
We'll be there next week. Or in a week and a half, I think we'll be in Denver. And Colorado always kind of feels like a home away from home, especially with how far away it is.
It's pretty sweet. It's good. It's a good state.
People like us in Colorado. People like us all over, but in Colorado, it feels it's a little different out there.
Gee, we sure are likable.
Yeah, we really are.
Burlington, Vermont is a wonderful place as well.
Oh yeah, Burlington, Vermont, absolutely. There's a shout out Burlington crew. Woo! Good people out there.
Richmond's cool too.
Richmond.
Charlottesville, Virginia. So most of us live in Charlottesville, Virginia. So it's like a next door neighbor. Our saxophone player Jake actually lives here in Richmond, and it is one of my favorite cities. I come here all the time.
Agreed. Yeah, Richmond feels great.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all for talking with us here today, right before your show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have we figured out an outro yet? From us here at WVCW to you in your homes and to your listening devices, this is Kendall Street Company. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching.
Giving you a thumbs up.
Woo!